Hello and welcome to another episode of Into the Dragon Den with me, King of Dragons. If you're new to the channel, thank you for joining us on another episode of Into the Dragon Den, and if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. So, what are we doing on this episode of Into the Dragon Den? Well, I really did enjoy doing my top 10 action figure rewatch of 2017, and I thought it was only going to be fun if we do 2018 now. And basically what I'm going to do is go through my list, give my thoughts, and see, am I right on my list? Yeah, are there some things I would have changed? On the last list I did say that there were a couple things I would have changed, but for the most part I was overall happy with that list. So we're actually just going to go ahead and watch my top 10 action figure list of 2018. I'm going to set up everything, and then when we come back we're going to go ahead and watch my video. Alright, as you can see, my cursor is moving along the screen, and we're going to go through my top 10 list of 2018. So let's go ahead and press play. My old intro is always fun to see. I'm going to leave my cursor here just in case something pops up, and I'm going to be pausing the video a few times, maybe. We'll see. So, honorable mention, the Thing was a really good figure, and at the time was really hard to find. I know he was a Walgreens exclusive. The Legacy Collection Red Ranger, I believe he was a GameStop exclusive. I might not include him on another top 10 list, if I'm being honest. He really wasn't that great of a figure. I think I just put him on there because he was nice. Black Manta was a really nice figure. All this detail on him was so impressive. I do like it, and I especially like the eyes. And if only they had made that out of like translucent reflective plastic, that would have been really cool. Marvel Legends Scarlet Witch, she was part of the 2-pack with the Vision, or just Vision, and Vision was kind of a lackluster figure where she was a standout there. I do like, so far I'm liking these honorable mentions. Aquaman, another good figure. I think I would move Aquaman down and move Black Manta up in his spot, because I think I like Black Manta a little bit more than Aquaman. Not saying that that's a bad figure, just that I think Randy Orton was a good figure for the time, but again, I don't think you'll be seeing WWE figures on any of my top 10 lists anymore, because they have to be really, really special to be on my top 10 list. How did Storm Collectibles get an honorable mention? That makes me wonder what's on this year's list, if these guys got an honorable mention instead of being put on the actual top 10. We have Ermac, Smoke, and Rain, all part of the Comic-Con and New York Comic-Con. That was such an expensive week, I'm not gonna lie, but I do love those figures, Ermac probably being my favorite, although Rain does have a soft spot in my heart. I love those figures. I wish Storm would do more Mortal Kombat figures, but Mortal Kombat is trapped in limbo right now. Number 10, Marvel Legends Monster Venom, the Build-A-Figure version. I actually don't have this figure anymore. I actually sold it off a few years ago. It is a good figure. I still like the Monster Venom that I have, which is the Eddie Brock version. This is the I don't even know, Scorpion Venom. He just doesn't have a tail. Like the spider logo is of the Scorpion Venom, as you can see. It's a nice figure, nice mold. I still have a Monster Venom mold, just the Eddie Brock version. Number 9. What's on number 9? The DC Essentials Superman, which, yeah, I will say at the time he came out, he was a really good Superman, although he does have this almost Filipino look to him. I don't know what it is. It's a good head sculpt, but like I said, he seems a little bit Filipino. I don't have a problem with that. It's just the way they sculpted his head. The cape is also a little bit weird. You can see how it kind of has this ridges down the middle. I kind of wish it had a more natural feel to it, but it's still... Overall, it's a good figure, despite the fact it's a reuse of a sculpt. Number 8, what do we have here? Not gonna happen again. I think The Mortal Kombat ninjas should have been where Big Show is. There's no reason a WWE figure should ever be gracing my top 10 list. And it's good to go back in hindsight, because where was my mind at the time? There's no way Big Show was a better figure than Smoke, Ermac, and Rain. Yeah, it's a good figure. That's a good Big Show, don't get me wrong, but I don't think he's better than the Mortal Kombat ninjas. I'm questioning all my life choices there. The reissue of Frieza was a nice figure, although I think it was a reoccurring issue that his tail just doesn't sit right, and it does have a lot of issues with it pops off when you're trying to pose it. I think that's one of the major gripes me and a lot of other people had with it. But other than that, it's still a really solid figure, and I like the way they did his shoulders. It's better than the version 1 where this part of the hinge was white and it looked a little bit weird. The only thing is that it makes the inside of his arm purple. So yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate. DC Essentials Black Manta. Oh, we're looking at a lot of Black Manta in this list. And yeah, I'll say that is a really nice figure. Better than the Multiverse version. Even though he is reusing the Essentials body, I still think it's a really solid figure. His swords can actually peg into his backpack. And he even has a hidden weapon right here, which I thought that was really cool. And then you can see the tubes going into the helmet. Love that figure so much. Even the detailing on his backpack right here is so cool. Alright, what do we have for number 5? Goku Black! Yeah, Goku Black is still an impressive figure. He's got a couple of reissues in recent years with the pearlized hair. This is the more matte finish for the hair. However, this version does have the God Slicer right here. And then he also has the base form head. The base form head is something not seen in other Goku Black figures, and I'm going to pause the video really fast. I think the main issue I had with it is that his boots aren't the same color, and this was basically back when Bandai was painting the plastic rather than actually molding it in that color plastic. If they ever give us a version 2 of Goku Black, 100% that's going to be molded in white so it matches his boot right there. So unpause the video, and yeah, I love that Goku Black figure. I definitely think he deserves to be on the list. So what was after Goku Black? Number 4. The NECA Pennywise. Oh yeah, I really did enjoy the NECA Pennywise, and there was actually the GameStop exclusive version along with this one, and I like the fact that the heads were interchangeable between the two of them. One issue I did have with my Pennywise is I think one of the hands did break, unfortunately, and I think it broke like inside the cuff. When the way his wrist works, it's almost like a ball hinge, so and it's pegged into the cuff, and I think on mine it broke inside the cuff, so I can still get the articulation on it. I just am very cautious on moving it. I don't remember which side was broken, but I do remember it did break on me, which was I was sad. The NECA Kratos, you can see I did pick up a lot of NECA figures, and Kratos here was a very nice figure. I do remember picking him up from Black Sheep Comics, which is a local comic book store here in El Paso, which really happy they had this Kratos, and he's a very good figure. Even by today's standards, he holds up very well, although I think the 2-pack Kratos is a little bit better just because the skin tone looks nicer. I still like the detailing here. This is more like the God of War 1 through 3 skin, where it's like really ashy. Number 2, Shao Kahn. Okay, so I know who number 1 is. It's really funny because this is the first time that I was like, yeah, Shao Kahn is going to be my number 1 figure because he's such a nice action figure. He was number 2 in 2018, and then in 2024 he was number 2 again. Shao Kahn is such a great figure. He just keeps getting outshined by something else, and I know what that something else is after seeing this video. Oh, I love this throne. It's such a nice throne, and it's gonna be Goro. Yep. Storm Collectibles Goro, the first version, which I think is still a very nice figure. Now, one issue I do have with Goro figures, and this stems back from like even the Hasbro when they were doing the G.I. Joe, Goro has always been skinny when it comes to action figures, and if you look at his original in-game model, which I'll probably put a picture here, he was very broad, and I don't think any action figure really replicates or captures that broadness that he has. He has height on him, don't get me wrong, I love the height on this Goro, but he's just very lanky. Goro shouldn't be lanky, he should be like a very broad action figure, and the same issue is with Kintaro and the Mortal Kombat X Goro, is that he's still a little bit too thin for my liking. I would have loved to see a more beefy version, a more broad version of Goro, but other than that, yeah, I honestly think Goro does deserve that top spot on my list. So yeah, really happy with this list. With the only thing I'm not liking was Big Show was on the list. My old outro screen. You can still find me at these socials right here. So yeah, really did like that video, so we're gonna just exit out of this and move on to my final thoughts. Alright, so after that short little break so I could get some water, overall I think that list could have been a little bit better. 10 and me moving everything around, I think that's the way I would have done that. So yeah, overall I'm still pretty happy with that list. It could have been a little bit better if I just reorganized it a little bit better. I think at the time I wanted to have every toy line have some kind of representation, but looking back at it, that's not really an honest way to do it, and yeah, I would honestly do it a little bit differently with Big Show no longer on the top list. Figures that came after Big Show would move back one spot until we got to number 3, where that would be Rain, Ermac, and Smoke, and then number 2 would still be Shao Kahn, and number 1 absolutely would be Goro. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that list, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode of Into the Dragon Den, where we do the time warp again back to a simpler time of 2018. Once again, thank you for joining me on this journey back through memory lanes. I really like doing this for you guys. Maybe next week we're going to do another episode where we go back and watch 2019. I think that would be really fun. So, as always, guys, thank you for watching this episode of Into the Dragon Den. As always, I'm King of Dragons 5000, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.